Checking audio 1, 2. This is an audio test to the live stream. Checking 1, 2. Test, 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 test.
at 2:04 p.m. And I'd like to welcome everyone to the quarterly auxiliary board meeting. So if I'm going to share, or actually, Roberta, can you share the agenda with the team?
I think I can. Give me a sec here. Auxiliary agenda final. Share screen. Choose where to share. Where to go? Where to go? Can you guys see my screen yet? No?
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay. Oh, good.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
That way people don't have to read my screen while I'm typing my notes and stuff.
Okay.
So thanks, Roberta.
Sure.
Okay, so we're on item 2, public comments. Are there any comments on the agenda for the auxiliary board meeting?
No.
Okay, all right. So we're going to go ahead and move to item 3, the approval of the agenda. So we'll give everyone a moment to review the agenda. And then, Roberta, would you mind scrolling towards the top of a little bit so they can see item 7 and 8? Thank you so much.
Sorry.
Okay. Are there any questions on the agenda? Okay. Hearing none, we need a motion to approve the agenda.
It's LaTanya. I motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, LaTanya. Appreciate that. And do we have a second?
Seconded. Oh, sorry.
Okay, great. Any discussion? Okay. Seeing none. Roberta, can you please do a roll call of the board members?
Yep. For the motion. Okay. Vice President Drinkwine. Vice President Corral.
Aye.
Shauna Hageman.
Aye.
Alyssa Avila. Did you answer, Alyssa? I didn't hear you.
Aye.
I'm sorry. LaTanya Hardin.
Aye.
And I think of all the board members, those are the ones present today. So.
Okay, fantastic.
I didn't miss anybody, right? No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So the motion to approve the agenda has been unanimously passed. Thank you, everyone.
I'm sorry. Did our student at large, Luis Gonzalez, get an opportunity to vote?
Is he on? Is he online?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm sorry, Luis. Can we talk, Bob, or did you want to cast your vote for approving the agenda, Luis?
I approve it. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I didn't see you online. My screen is just has the agenda on. I can't see anything else. Thank you. I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and thank you, Vice President Drinkwine, for catching that. So the agenda has been approved. We're going to move on to item number 4, approval of the December 20th minutes. And if Roberta sent this out and it's attached to the meeting, it's attached to the meeting. But thank you, Roberta, for pulling that up. Okay. This one usually takes a little bit longer to review. I'll tell you what, Roberta, would you mind? Is this showing up as a single page to everyone on the screen, or is it showing up in 2?
It's showing up as 2 on me.
Could you make it a little bit bigger, maybe like 120? Increase this.
How do I do that?
Lower right hand corner with a little slide bar.
There's a little slide bar, is there, huh? Oh, I see. Oh, whoa. Okay, a little bit bigger. How big? Oh. Do you want to just do the single page like it just burst into the single page when I made it this
Yeah,
big?
I think that might make it a little bit easier for folks to see.
Okay,
Thank
then
you
I
for
can just
that.
scroll. I can just scroll when everyone's caught up.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Tell me if I'm scrolling too fast, everybody. Or too slow.
Could you scroll back up a little bit there? So I just wanted to address, the board had a couple of comments here that they asked us to look into. And so I'll provide an update on those items as we progress through the meeting.
Okay, continue.
Please, thank you. Thank you, Roberta.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Roberta, thanks so much for doing that.
Sure.
Okay, Dr. Corral.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. I know you mentioned in terms of the old business, some updates on some of the requests that were made of the last 3 years or a last year comparison, right?
Yes.
A little bit further down, I had also requested at a future agenda meeting, and again, it may not be for this meeting if we're not prepared to do so, but the idea of supplementing a scholarship for students
right here.
to participate in civic engagement. And I think we'll talk about this a little bit more in maybe old business, but I was wondering if we did have an update on this, and if not, then we could put it on the next agenda.
I did gather some information, so yes, we will have an update. Yep.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Any other questions on the meeting minutes? Okay, so if we could have a motion to approve.
Yes, there is a motion to approve.
Great, thank you, Louise. And do we have a second?
I'll second this, LaTanya.
Thank you, LaTanya. Okay, so we have a motion before the board to approve the meeting minutes of December 20th, 21. Roberta, you are doing a lot, so I will go ahead and do the roll call vote.
Okay.
Marlene Drinkwine.
Aye.
Thank you. Dr. Noel Corral.
Aye.
Thank you. Shauna Hageman.
Aye.
Thank you. I don't believe Dr. Kirkwood is on the call. So ASB board student Richard Blackman, are you present on this meeting? No, I don't believe you are. Okay. Luis Gonzalez.
Yes.
Thank you. And then Alyssa Avila.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. So the motion passes.
You skipped me, LaTanya Harden, and I.
Tanya, how did I miss you? See, this is why I can't. Hey, Roberta's laughing because she wouldn't have missed you. And LaTanya Harden, thank you very much. Okay, so we are rusty here, but it sounds like it is passed unanimously. Thank you.
Can I take this off my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Stop sharing. Stop sharing. Okay.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is item number 5, campus stores update, and that would be from Barnes Noble. And I see Mary Fajar, our general manager of the bookstore here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hi, Mary.
Hello, thank you. Well, good afternoon and welcome to the bookstore update. It's been an incredibly busy rush. This will just be a real quick bullet pointed rundown of how we did at the bookstore in the last 2 weeks. So we're just coming up for air and, we've had a really, really nice rush. I am so pleased that we have so many students back on campus, as everyone is, I am sure. So it looks like we are coming out of the pandemic gloom. Back into the sunshine. It has been calm, but really, really busy, very, very steady. Our hours during at the LAC campus bookstore, as you know or may not know, are 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. Now, we held those hours during spring rush here at the LAC campus, and we ran with what's called a soft close. Did just kind of went day by day to see just how busy it was at 3 o'clock. Did we have students wanting to come in? We had a few before 4 o'clock, but most of the time, the business did taper off at about 3. But before that, we were really, really busy. The average wait time at the LAC campus store was 7 minutes, which is really, really good. All in all, I think rush was really, really, really positive. The students were happy to be back on campus, and we had very, very few out of stocks. As you know or may not know, there is a paper shortage nationwide. So some of those custom items that our instructors were requesting, labs and things like that, custom pamphlets, those were a bit delayed, but they have all arrived. We only have one that we're still missing right now, and that is a biology lab. But those have been printed and they are in transit. But for the most part, it was very, very successful. We did not get truly affected by out of stocks as some other areas of the country did. So our students did have what they needed on the first day of class. That's good. We are current with our web orders, so we are not behind. We did have one day the second week, that was last week on Tuesday, where some of the orders carried over to Wednesday. Just a small amount, about 22 orders came in at the last minute. The staff had to go. But for the most part, we are current. We're currently running at about a 3-hour order comes in, turn around, ready for pickup or ready to ship out. So that's very, very good as well. Regarding the PCC campus, so it was requested and we were able to accommodate that. We did open for the first week of rush. We averaged and did not exceed 10 students visiting the PCC bookstore per day. So I wanted to give you guys accurate numbers on that we had about 10 students every day visiting the campus bookstore. A lot of them were for questions, and I was really, really glad that we could have Ruth there. I'm pleased that we could make that happen, and I know that it was important to the campus that we did make that happen. It has been requested by the PCC campus that we reopen for the week of March 7th, which is when late starts begin. I think we will be able to accommodate that again as well. It's been brought up to me that some of our ESL students, the majority of them, it could be a transportation issue or, whatever. They just need a little extra help from our staff. And so I'm really pleased that we should be able to accommodate that as well. So I didn't send an email out yet, but I will because the request came through today. So March 7th, we will plan on having PCC bookstore open for that. And I think as we progress towards summer, we have another round of late starts that will be happening on April 11th. I think we should be able to do that as well at that time. We did do a conservative round of sales that week at PCC. We did about $2,000, which that's not too shabby.
How much, Mary? I'm sorry.
Apologize.
How much was
it was about $2,000 for the whole
Thank
week.
you. Thank you.
So, that's, I give or take a few dollars here, but it was about $2,000. I don't have the exact. That is not terrible considering that we had 3 days and with which to tell our students that we would be open. So I'm glad that we were able to do that. PCC, here, I'll just finish up with PCC for you. PCC, we are looking at currently reopening that campus at 100%, that particular location, 100% on or around June 13th. I had anticipated July 5th, but I'm thinking if summer courses hold, the pandemic holds, that hopefully we will be able to have that location open 100% as expected to serve the students and staff on or around the 13th of June. So that is my goal right now, 100%. We still don't have a timeline for Viking Express. I am waiting on my home office for that and more discussions as we go forward with Bob and the campus as to when we will be reopening the PCC campus Viking Express. With regards to the LAC campus express store, it is still closed. We're hoping to open it up on the first week of July, generally around the 5th, possibly the 6th, in time for any summer classes, and that'll give us plenty of time to really get the team pressure tested and ready to go for fall start. Questions so far, anyone? A couple more things. Okay. We have, with regards to the campus vaccine voucher, the list of names that I've received so far from the financial aid department of all those students who have received approval for their vaccine vouchers is 2,900 plus or minus a couple students. So it's about 2,900 students who did qualify and were approved for the vaccine vouchers. If you have seen Stacy, thank you so much, Stacy Toda. I'm going to send her a lovely email. She was able to accommodate us, and she sent out a email blast to those students, not campus-wide, just to the vaccine voucher students, reminding them about to use their voucher. We did have some response from that. We did see an increase in web orders because of that. That was the first week of rush when that campaign went out. Today, another one was sent to Stacy to have communications send out another reminder to those students that they still have funds available, how to use those funds, how to find out what their voucher balance is, and then if they need any further guidance on, the how-to through the website, just how to get in contact with us. Thanks, Looper and the parking team. They were fantastic. We had restriping in parking lot D, and they were able to designate several 30-minute spots for students and customers visiting the bookstore, so that's great. It is appreciated. It is efficient. It looks fantastic. If you haven't seen it, go take a look because it looks fantastic. An update with regards to our website. This is the biggest thing right now. That's kind of a thorn in my side that I'm working on. We were to have a fix in place today. I have not tested our website yet, but the issue is our website migrated to a new platform in November. When that happened, the national issue also, it's not just our campus. It lost the ability to accept Barnes & Noble gift cards through the website. Now that fix is in place. It was supposed to load overnight and be live today. I apologize, I have not had a chance to test the system to see if it is optional. I can look in a moment. I can send out an update to everyone and let them know if that was in place, or if not, when it will be repaired. But at this time, we do have students with gift cards. We have first-year experience students. We have many students whose departments have purchased bulk gift cards from the bookstore, and they are, required to come into the campus to use them in store. One of the accommodations we made because of that was that we were helping these students over the phone. We realized that there are a lot of students who are still remote or hybrid, and that we are taking those phone calls. And we are supporting those students over the phone. So we have a list and a record of every gift card that's sold. We have the serial numbers of every single one. So it is very secure. It is an inconvenience for that student. So we apologize for that, but we are accommodating them and taking those orders over the phone as needed, and we are shipping as students requested. One of the last things was physical inventory. So the bookstore every spring goes through what's called a physical inventory, where we check our on hands and see how we are. And we will be closed on Friday, March 25th to do the LAC campus stores physical inventory. Saturday the 26th, we will not be impacted because that is a closed day at PCC, but that's the date down there, the 26th for the PCC. We'll have an outside service called Washington Inventory. They're going to have a staff of about 8 folks that will be on campus. They are already aware that they need to comply with the campus's mandates, local CDC and national guidelines with regards to COVID, masking, vaccination, the whole kit and caboodle. So that is prepared. I do know that there will be some documentation, Bob, I'm sure, that we'll have to submit, and I'll get with you on that one with regards to just letting y'all know how many names, where they'll be parking and things like that, how long they'll be on campus. It won't be long. We should be in at 6 a.m. and out by noon on that day, but both days, in fact. Okay. And the last thing is I will be putting in a request and maybe talking to you, Bob, later on about the potential to add my text manager as an admin on Canvas. And here's why, and I'm sure everybody, I think, will agree with me that this might be something to consider. It is a request only. As we all know, First Day or instant access for our students is incredibly popular. It's successful. It works. Very, very solid program. We did have 22 sections. That's not instructors. It works out to be about 4 of our instructors who missed the first step of the First Day setup when they were doing their 6 minor steps in order to get instant access for the material for themselves and the students. Have I lost anyone? Okay. I'm just asking, just checking. Okay, so some of our students and our faculty and our instructors, they use this digital instant access. It's a great tool for our students. It allows them to have access on the first day of class. There was a minor step that was, and it's step 1. It is the option for the student to opt in or opt out of this material, as is their choice. It is very, very important that our faculty and staff do that, just so that we all adhere to the guidelines of allowing these students the choice. I don't know what those laws or rules are that we have, but I know that it is incredibly, incredibly important. And it is a request that we allow Reed to just review those courses behind the scenes. It will be a view only. It would be allowing him to take that one very, very crucial part of the review off of anyone's plate that, and it will allow him to say, oh, instructor A, B, C, D, you didn't do step 1, that is very, very important. Please do this. It is something that he feels strongly that is in his capabilities, and it would just take a lot of time off of everyone else's plate. And I would say remove any hiccups the first week of class with regards to students going, why do I have to do this? How do I get it? And I think it would speed the process up. I'm not sure if I'm making a whole lot of sense there. I think that's for me to talk about with Bob and perhaps Wendy, but I'll get back to you on that one. It's a minor request, and I think it would make things more efficient for our faculty and our students. Let's see. Do I have any questions? I just have one more item, and then I will be. Okay. I was unable to, because of rush, I was unable to attend the commencement meeting that was last week. I understand that it's going to be live. At least that was the latest that I have heard. Because of this, we will continue to be using Balfour and CB Grad for our cap and gown ordering. The website will go live soon. Everyone will be updated as soon as the website goes live. Students who are graduating to go and order their caps and gowns. We will be hosting a grad fair this year in May. I don't have those dates yet, but if anyone is partial to any particular dates, please let me know. We're incredibly flexible. We haven't had a grad fair in a couple years, and we're looking forward to it. Really, this is going to be kind of exciting. I love rolling out the balloons and seeing everybody get excited. So if there are any meetings that you feel that it would be good for me to attend, please include me on those with regards to commencement and planning. I'd love to be there for that. And I think that is all I have. Anyone have anything for me?
Actually, I do, Mary, since you mentioned commencement. So just FYI, we were discussing, I had a meeting earlier And so I'll be having A&R run numbers of projected number of completers. So I'll get that to you. I know you all like those numbers, so you can kind of order or prepare for a certain number of cap and gowns.
That would be wonderful.
And then as well, we are talking about bringing grad fair back. We're kind of using grad festival type language because folks want to keep the energy of cap and go in a new format. And so if you want to serve on that subcommittee, I got a place for you. So that would be great to have you. And I think it'll benefit because we're hoping you all will be out with the caps and gowns, handing them out, letting students order and buy. So yeah, I will make sure that we add you to that list as well.
I'll be there. Thank you, Dr. Kirkwood. Help me.
And I just wanted to add my appreciation, Mary, for your flexibility in opening up the PCC bookstore for us for the first week of the semester. I know that the students and the faculty really appreciated that, so thank you.
Oh, absolutely. That's what we're here for. And it was touch and go to see if I was going to make it happen, but we did, and I'm glad that we could. So, and we will continue.
Okay. All right, Mary, thank you. Thank you so much. And I definitely was picking up what you were saying about being able to review the classes. My guess is, you and I will talk offline, but we could maybe create a Ask IIT SFA profile or read-only profile could be created for something like that. So I understand. We used to do something with the auditors where we had like a read-only function. So I think in theory it's feasible. So we'll definitely get back to you on that.
Not sure if I articulated that very well, but hey, it's all good. All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Thanks, Mary. Okay. And next item on the agenda is item number 6, food service update. And actually, I'm kind of remiss. I actually want to thank Mary and Dave both for being here. We've missed you. I've missed you a great deal, seeing your faces on these calls and in person. So it's actually wonderful to see you both. So Dave, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Bob. Can everybody hear me all right? All
Yes.
right, fantastic. It's good to see everybody. Sorry I missed the last meeting. I was out of town. But here I am and here we are, spring 2022. Good things are happening. We're seeing increased foot traffic. Right now, we're at LAC, we're at about 30 to 35% of what a normal semester would be. But the business seems to still be growing. So we're not sure where it's going to top out, but I think, this week might be it, unless we get a big bump with the late starting classes, which is great compared to last semester. PCC, we're at about 44% of what we would normally do. But PCC has never been a big moneymaker for us. But we're happy to see the students. And today was really a surprise for us because normally after a long weekend, people don't have any money and they skip lunch. But today we've had good, steady crowds all day, and it's probably going to be the best day we've had this semester. So we're excited about that. We're still trying to increase offerings. As we know people are going to be here, we're trying not to have too big of a menu because we're not at a point where we can fully staff. But for example, at LAC this week, we brought back pizza by the slice, and people seem to be excited about that. On Thursday at PCC, this is something we started last semester. Once every few weeks, we're doing a soul food special. The cook I hired at PCC is, her name's Crystal. She's really a big proponent of running the soul food special. She does it really well. And so if you're at PCC on Thursday, please come by. And hopefully you could get a plate before it sells out. We do sell out every time we do it. So that's what's going on at LAC and PCC. The big news this semester is that catering has really come back, and with more people on campus and a willingness to have events on campus, it's really helped us out a lot. If you're considering having catering, we're doing it differently this semester because of the pandemic. We're doing what I like to call vended meals, which is more of a airline style serving, except the food is delicious, unlike airline. And we get these special containers. The visual aid, this is for a bigger event, and this is for, we're putting a pasta dish and a salad in this one. And, they're pricey, but the customers can take them home and reuse them. They're microwavable. Better Breakfast has come back this semester. We've done a few of those, and they've gone really well. We did the Black History Month kickoff event, and that was kind of a last minute thing that we picked up. And Crystal from PCC helped us with the soul food, so we could make sure it was authentic, and it went really well. We did a breakfast for 140 people last Thursday for the high school educator event. And, our big steady customer, Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business, has returned to on-campus meetings. So they're getting food every Friday till the end of the semester, which is great because it allows us to keep LAC open on Friday. Even though it's, without it, it wouldn't really be bringing in enough money to cover the expenses. What else? We are also having a gift card issue. The bookstore's not alone. And the issue is we changed our cash register system, and gift cards are proprietary to cash register companies. And we upgraded to a company called Clover, which is very common in the hospitality industry, and they're great. They work so much better than the last registers we got. And it's such an improved customer experience because there's an actual terminal that the customer uses themselves for their non-cash transactions. And they're able to do a contactless transaction very easily. They can get a receipt however they want. They can get it texted to them. But unfortunately, they can't go to the website on the gift card. And we have tons of these program cards out, and hopefully I'm not just rambling, but there's on the back, it says go to checkmygiftbalance.com to check their balance. The cards still work, and they work on our register. We have to manually input the numbers. But if they go to that website, it doesn't give them their balance. So they have to come on in to check their balance or call me. So that's what's going on with that. Are there any questions?
I did have a question. What is the operating hours for the LAC campus?
That's a great question, because I was going to say that and I forgot. So at LAC, we're open from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Friday. And we might revisit that later in the semester just because for some reason we're not getting the early morning customers like we were. I think between 7 and 8, we're getting 8 customers. And I think between 3 and 4 in the afternoon, we're probably getting 20 to 30 customers. So I might tell everybody to sleep in and maybe we'll start at 7:30. I don't think it would affect the customers that much, and it would save me just a little bit of overtime every day. And then at PCC, we're open 7:30 to 2, Monday through Friday. But I think after this Friday, we might have to cancel the Fridays. We'll see.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Yeah, I had a question about the students with the gift cards. Do you know how many students have gift cards?
That's a difficult question to answer, but I 99% of them are program cards that are purchased by EOPS and CARE, and there were thousands of them were issued, and I don't know how many they still have in the office. I know they've started redistributing them, and approximately 10% of our daily sales are coming from gift cards.
What might be helpful is if you do have a way of tracking how much is utilized through gift cards, just following up with those special programs to give them an awareness of how much has been utilized and or underutilized, so that they can also send follow-up reminders to their programs and their students, because I think having that communication from like a group that they're familiar with, especially if it's EOPNS, CARE, CalWorks, et cetera,
sure,
will add to kind of utilization of it.
Yeah, the only issue is that there's no way for me to know what program a card was for based on what the number is. I have access to the serial numbers of the cards and the amounts on them.
And I don't know if maybe an aggregate, like if you know how many have been used and how many are still pending, even that number alone, it sounds like it's very low, would be good for programs to know so that they can then follow up with their respective students.
Okay. Thank you. I'll look into that.
Okay. All right, Dave, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob.
We appreciate that. Like I said, it's great to have food services back on campus again.
Yeah, and real quick, Dave, I do want to say Better Breakfast has been going great. Students are loving the packaged pancakes, etc. So it is working for our programming in the way we're able to do it. So kudos on that.
It's great. It's safe because the food's not open, so there's less of a concern for COVID. And then even though it ends up being a little more expensive, it is much easier to distribute if you're trying to feed a large amount of people.
And Dave, I just want to congratulate you on the chef you have. I have to say that the greens at the launch of the African American Heritage Month event were fantastic. It's really easy to get those wrong, and they were really good. So
thank you so much. I had 2 bowls myself.
They were really good. I ate all of mine. That may be the only drawback if your individual servings is I could have gone back for more.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Dave. Okay, everyone. Great having both those services back on campus. We're going to go ahead and move on to item number 7 of the agenda. That's the financial reports. And I believe Elise and Juan, we're going to speak to that.
Yes. Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Let's see. Can everyone see my screen? Okay, so I'm going to be sharing 3 reports today. So the first one is going to be the auxiliary available balance So all of these reports are going to be as of January 31st, 2022. So the auxiliary for the year has budgeted $672,727. To date, they've expensed $140,188.23. This includes salaries and benefits through December, utilities through December. It also includes the normal operating costs that the auxiliary has, so like window washing, kitchen maintenance, exhaust cleaning. The one thing that is not on here that is usually on here around this time is auxiliary rent, and that is a big ticket item. So I think I want to say it's like around 120,000, and that is not on here. We've been invoiced, but we haven't paid it yet. So just make note that that is not included in this 140 amount.
Elise, can I make a comment quickly on that?
Mm-hmm.
That just went through today.
Okay,
So,
good. Okay, so
yes,
it'll
thank
be
you.
reflected within the next auxiliary meeting. Thank you. So it's 140, 188 for expenses through January. The next report is going to be the auxiliary profit and loss statement. So this has all the revenue the auxiliary has received through January. So it's 115, 828 and 54 cents. This includes Barnes and Noble commissions, the commissions we receive from the vending machines, the Long Beach schools ATM that we service, and then SMB, and then interest income. So it's 115, 828, and then on the bottom of the report is the expenses, and this should match to what we have on the available balance. So you can see that we're at a net loss of 24,359.69. So if the rent were to be included in this report, we would have been at a net loss of over 100,000. So that's one thing to look at. And then the last report is the trial balance. So this basically has everything that the other two reports talked about. So it has all your expenses up top and then all your revenue below. It also shows that we've given $12,479 in auxiliary grants, and I think you guys are going to talk about the grants later in the meeting. So this is the amount that we gave out for those grants for this year. Any questions on these three reports? No questions? And then the auxiliary tax return is still being finalized. I'm hoping that we can get it we can get it and present it by the next board meeting in May. And that's it. Do you want to add anything, Bob, maybe that I missed?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Thank you, Elise. And so
You're welcome.
The great thing about this is Elise puts these together ahead of time and sends them to me. So we're actually able to correspond a little bit ahead of time. And the loss is in line with what we've projected. The 127 for rent is just a sunk cost. But this loss, pulling out that loss, what we had budgeted, this loss is tracking to approximately what we budgeted for this year. So we do expect an operational loss this year of in excess of 200,000. That's what was budgeted. That was approved back in, gosh, what would have that been? May, I believe. But it was presented to the board in that manner. So we are tracking, but I'd like to point out that we do expect higher revenue in spring with people being back on campus. I see VP Drinkwine has a question.
I do. I just wanted to see what our current fund balance is, or our projected fund balance for the end of the 21-22 year. So I know that we have a loss, but the balance, I think, is important to put that loss into context.
Yes, yes, absolutely. We do have a positive fund balance.
Right, and that is, it looks like the fund balance is the combination of those two accounts. So about 3.4 if I round up. I'm looking at the under account 979110 unrestricted fund balance. General operations has a balance of 534.8 thousand, and then the second general operations in a different department has the 2,858,000. And so I think that it's important that we maintain a sufficient balance here, but it is enough to absorb a 1-year loss. I think if we had an ongoing operational deficit, I would be far more concerned, but because our deficit appears to be directly related to reduced operations because of the closure of campus, that is why we have reserves, so that we can absorb those unexpected fluctuations.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, I think the team has done a really nice job of mitigating losses. We have a lot of this is sunk expenses, as you all know, but there are a few items where we do have some flexibility and we're pulling the grants out because we want to give those out every year. That doesn't matter. But some of the other operating costs, we've done a good job of being able to control them, those losses as well. So I do agree with VP Drinkwine. We have a healthy bottom line still with the auxiliary. And hopefully with a healthy spring, we're going to see us pulling out of any deficit, into next year. Okay. Any further questions or thoughts on the financials? Okay, great. Elise, as always, thank you too.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to item number 8 on the agenda, correspondence. Now, Roberta, did we have any correspondence? Okay, I think that's a no for us. Okay. Number 9, committee reports and updates. For the auxiliary grants, as Elise had alluded to, we had 2 different grants that we approved this year. There's a CUE and CTA Good Teaching Conference. And we also had our geology club, which we've been holding over for a couple of years, and they're finally getting to go. So it's like really cool. Travel was approved for both of those. So the CUE and CTA Good Teaching Conference is basically to expose our students who are interested in a career in education to how those conferences work, and to hopefully start networking and learn the basics about what their career path will look like. So that one's exciting and fantastic. And the Geology Club is doing a weekend trip to Morro Bay for camping and kayaking. And we've been working with Stacey Robinson in the bursar's office to prepay the registrations and teaching everybody what kind of backup they need to get back in to do it. So I'm going to say so far it's been a rousing success. We'll find out when we get reports from those clubs. But I'm so thankful to the board for carrying over the Geology Club. They have a long history, and to me, that's a huge win for the students. So. Item number 10, old business. Okay, so this is what Dr. Corral was referring to. We had a couple of different things here, and if you'll give me a moment, I actually do have some information to share with the board. So the question that one of the first questions that came up was to do a revenue comparison. And I put folders inside of folders, everyone, so it takes me a while to click through and find them. That's what happens when you deal with people who used to be auditors. Okay, I'm going to blow that up a little bit and make sure all these numbers are visual. So what the board had asked me to do was to show a difference in the auxiliary revenue, so to do a comparison. And they asked to do the 3 years prior to this fiscal year. So for fiscal year 18-19, and I'm also happy to send this out to anyone who wants it. So you can see we've seen a decline, and of course this is the first year that this caught the tail end of the first year of the pandemic. But the nice part was we got through March. So it was really kind of mitigated. Last year was a full year largely of COVID. So that hurt us as well. This year, we're currently at 239,000. And I suspect, and we budgeted for about 400 some odd thousand, I think, this year. So we do plan on seeing an uptick. So we do seem to be trending in the right direction because spring is going to really be the bigger commissions. So the previous 3-year average for revenue was $694,949.37, as compared to this year is $239,000. So if I were to go for, if you want to see what a quick, what the drop has been, you have it there. It's about $455,000. Again, I do expect that number is going to probably drop to the mid twos by the time the end of the fiscal year we book all of our revenue. So, are there any questions on this board question that was raised last meeting? Dr. Kirkwood.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. So I see Barnes and Noble's commissions are clear. What would fall under the other line 7 commissions earned? Like, what are those commissions related to specifically?
Yeah, my apologies, Dr. Kirkwood. It's listed as commissions that's food service. Yeah.
I thought so. I just wanted to be sure.
No, great question. Thank you for asking.
And Bob, thank you for putting this together. It was my request, and this is really helpful. I think we all needed to know exactly what the impact of COVID was on the revenues for the auxiliary fund. And that's why I wanted to make sure we saw what our balance was, because that's important. We can see we've lost a lot of revenues. Those losses have been absorbed by our fund balance, along with those actions you mentioned to reduce our expenditures. So thank you.
Of course. Any other questions? Does anyone want me to eat? I know you all love getting spreadsheets in your inbox. So let me know if you'd like to send it out to me, or even if you reach out to me afterwards. I'm happy to share this with all of you, okay?
Are you implying that I'm not the only one who loves to get spreadsheets in my inbox and that everybody else enjoys them just as much as I do?
Yeah, I think so. I actually find the departments outside of apps like spreadsheets better. So, yes. But anyway, so that's item number 1. And then there was a question raised about whether or not stipends could be provided to students utilizing auxiliary funds. There's nothing in the bylaws that prevent us from doing so. So that's really the main question. VP Drinkland.
Thanks. I wanted to add to that. So just to remind the rest of the group what we were discussing, not stipends per se, because stipends would imply an employer-employee relationship, but somehow providing a monetary recognition of the service for students who participate in hiring committees. And I think it would be more appropriately termed an honorarium, that we want to provide them with some level of compensation in recognition of the tremendous service they provide within that hiring committee, because that hiring committee represents a significant amount of commitment to the entirety of the process. And I don't want to get too far ahead of Dr. Corral, because I think Dr. Corral could better describe what we envision. But that first step was looking at where can we use funds. We can't use general district funds because it could be interpreted as a gift of public funds. But we were looking at creative opportunities to provide this recognition. And so I was happy to hear that the bylaws of the auxiliary don't prohibit it, and we can group it along with our grants and scholarships. It's not a grant, it's not a scholarship, it'd be an honorarium, but it is similar enough. But Dr. Corral?
Yeah, thank you, VP Drinkwine. Just to provide a little bit more context, and Dr. Kirkwood can actually provide some additional information in terms of what ASB has kind of voted on kind of doing in participation in participatory governance committees on campus. But at last meeting, we had a conversation about, one, connecting what our revenues were going to be or have been for us to really take a look at how much money we have kind of carrying over and how much money we have as a result of those revenues, to see if there's an opportunity of doing something similar to what other districts do and helping offset some of the student referendum fees used to support student participation in these committees by providing them with civic engagement scholarships for participating on governance committees on campus. Now, connected to that is what VP Drinkwine was mentioning in terms of extending participatory governance committees to also recognize and support the amount of time it takes to serve on a hiring committee, and that we seek student participation and engagement for. This semester alone for spring, we're looking at about 40 plus committees, right? Where we're needing student participation on faculty hires. And one way to help prevent them from having to juggle, do I go to work or do I participate in a committee, or do I take care of these other responsibilities or participate in this committee, is to recognize them for the time invested in these hiring committees. So again, looking at ways in which we can utilize auxiliary funds to help support student participation on these hiring committees or committees as a whole. We've had some preliminary conversations with Foundation. Foundation could support some of this year so that it doesn't fully come out of student referendum fee, but if auxiliary can also help support that as well, I think it'll help support our students in the long run.
And what we're really trying to do is create structure. We both want to recognize our students without having too unlimited of an access or an anticipation that every time a student volunteers for service that they would receive some level of compensation, because that's not what we're doing either. We're really trying to recognize that one of the greatest obstacles for students to participate in serving the district in those areas that require a lot of time and a specific amount of commitment, that by providing them with some financial recognition, it would eliminate one of those barriers, one of those obstacles. And so in identification of these very specific opportunities for students to receive that financial recognition, we looked at their participation on hiring committees specifically, because it requires between 15 and 20 hours of specific commitment. As you know, if a student only attends half of that, then none of their work goes towards the effort of the selection of that candidate. This is a unique year. We're looking at 40 full-time faculty hires, which is extraordinary. It's a combination of receiving a little bit more than $2 million in full-time faculty hiring money from the state, which we have to use to hire, as well as the impact of the employee retirement incentive that happened at the beginning of the school year. And we had about 17 retirees there, required to hire 23 under the new faculty. So that's 40. In my agreed short term with the district, I was thinking 4 or 5. I remember somebody sharing, oh yeah, one year we had 13. So 40 is definitely abnormal. And that's important, because what I would propose is that we do use auxiliary funds to provide those students who participate in the entirety of the hiring committee service with a $250 honorarium. This first year of that has a higher cost because of the big 40 number. It'd be about $10,000. Not about, it would be $10,000. I would not anticipate it continuing at that high level. I think prior to COVID, the year just prior to COVID, we hired 4 full-time faculty. So, that's a swing of between $1,000 and $10,000. But I do know that even though we didn't receive all the revenue we had in prior years during COVID, we also didn't pay out the same level of scholarships and grants. And so that's what we're considering. We would, of course, implement process around these. Like I said, one of the components would be that the student would have to have participated fully in the committee, and we'd have some document from HR that would that would be able to confirm that student's full participation. Payment of the honorarium would occur after completion. We would inform the student, don't plan on it right, the day you finish it. It would take a few weeks to process payment. We'd have to work all of that out. But that is the recommendation, is to use auxiliary funds, to expand the use of auxiliary funds from scholarships and grants to scholarships and grants, and a $250 honorarium for students participating in the hiring committees. Did I catch all that right, Dr. Corral? Fantastic. So I think thoughts.
I just wanted to first off thank the leadership for this because as Dr. Corral shared, for the 3 years I've been with the college, ASB has been working to compensate students for their time serving on the participatory governance committees, just in general, because it is a lot for a lot of our students who are already working multiple jobs. And so I'm just happy to hear that the leadership is in support of that. And if that's through the auxiliary, the foundation, we're open. The students actually voted last year that they would also provide stipends, honorariums, what the verbiage for students who serve on district-wide committees, because it is the responsibility kind of student life and ASB to kind of support getting those students. And so if the auxiliary were able to help these hiring, it was a lot. We had to verify good standing for all of those students on the hiring committees. And yeah, there's quite a few this semester, but that has not been the norm, as VP Drinkwine shared from previous years. But it will also be a great show of faith to our student leaders that the district does value your time and recognize that this is above and beyond regular student leadership type responsibilities to your said club or organization. This is benefiting the district. And that was a lot of the feedback that they were giving, is they were all for it, but they didn't feel like the responsibility financially should fall solely on student fee dollars. And so it's going to be great once we figure it all out to go back to the students and say, look, we heard you all, and in good faith kind of support those efforts. So just want to be in full support of that as well, because I think it's important.
Well, that falls under the purview of this board. The district board would not have, our executive committees would not have say over it because we have a separate board, but that would fall under the purview of this board to create such a processor for honorariums for students who are, I'm trying to pick this up while I'm taking notes too, for students participating in full-time faculty hiring committees. So what I would suggest the board that the board do, what's the target date for this?
These committees are convening right now and would continue through June. So I don't think we could wait for the next quarterly meeting of this auxiliary board to make this decision. I know we're talking about it under the agenda under old business. If it's appropriate to make a motion at this time, I'm happy to make a motion for consideration by the board. Just to, the motion would be to allocate $10,000 to allocate funds to support $250 honorariums for each student who serves the entirety of a hiring committee, which is projected to be about $10,000 for the 2021-22 year.
Okay. Did you, Roberta, did you pick that up?
It's recorded just in case, Roberta.
Yep. Okay, so the motion on the floor from VP Drinkwine, and VP Drinkwine, if I misspeak, please let us know, is for the board to allocate a $250 honorarium for students who are sitting $250 $250 honorarium for students per student for students who are currently sitting on hiring. Is it full-time faculty hiring committees or full-time hiring committees?
I would ask that it be hiring committees. but also convene hiring committees for administrators, for example, and the time and effort is equal to sitting on it for a full-time faculty. So for students who serve on a hiring committee, I think is sufficient.
Okay, got that. For an amount, not, I believe you said not to exceed 10,000 or up to $10,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Annual.
Annual. Shauna Hageman.
Thank you. I know this is going to get really wordy, but is there anything that we can put in there to reflect that the student has completed the entire process somehow? So I'm not thinking that people would do this, but they really should complete the whole process.
I think we can also, perhaps we should just say who served with, and then, forgive me, I'm trying to think at the same time I'm composing or speaking out loud, say something about and follow a process to be developed, because we would need to develop a process. I like successfully served on hiring committees, but we would also require the students to provide us with some documentation. For instance, one service would not equal the amount when we have to issue a W-9 to a student, but a student who serves on, say, 5 committees, we would then have to document it with a W-9. So every student serves, we would have to collect that information, including a student's social security number. So I would say successfully served and met the conditions according to a process that will be developed.
Thank you.
And, I agree. We should include something to denote the successful completion. Internally, the procedures will be a successful completion indicating EEO training, participate in all meetings and all interviews, right? I think procedurally, we can probably outline that to follow process. But for this, I think we could say kind of higher level so that we don't make it our process in the motion.
Yeah, I agree. So what's the motion on the board for the floor to consider is the creation of a $250 honorarium per student for all students currently serving on a hiring committee for an amount up to $10,000 annually under the conditions that the students meet the guidelines set forth by the board to provide documentation that successful completion of the hiring committee was completed. That
close enough. It's close enough.
Yeah, we can smooth it out
yeah,
if needed later, but I think that's a just, right?
That's the gist of it. Yeah, and I think especially saying something about a process to be developed, because then we will refine it. The things that won't change will be $250 per student who successfully served. As long as we get $250 per student successfully served, I think that's the motion. So I think now we just need a second if anyone wants to second that one.
Second it. Actually, I saw Dr. Kirkwood. You were moving.
I've been waiting for this day for anybody to come through and support students in this effort. So second, I just wasn't sure Bob was ready for it yet.
You can put down Dr. Kirkwood, Bob.
all right, good. Because we don't want any kind of board disagreements. We've seen those, but okay. So now we're going to do a roll call vote. Roberta,
Yep.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Vice President Marlene Drinkwine.
Aye.
Vice President Noel Croft.
Aye.
Shauna Hagman.
Aye.
Alyssa Avila.
Aye.
Dr. Alicia Kirkwood.
Aye.
Latanya Hardin.
I'm sorry, I have a question. Do you need 100% on the roll call to get it approved?
No, it would be
Okay,
just
nope.
any other vote. Yes.
No problem. So nay.
Okay. And Luis Gonzalez.
Yes.
That's everyone. I don't think I missed anybody this time around.
Okay, excellent. Okay. So the motion has passed. Okay. Sorry, everyone. I'm typing my notes as well. Okay. Moving on to the agenda under new business. Meeting dates. The final meeting of the board, the auxiliary board, for this fiscal year will be May 24th. That's where I'll present the proposed budget for the following fiscal year. And that's the major news there under new business. Item number 12 of the agenda, student voice announcements. This is where our students who are serving on this board have a chance to address the board.
Hi, it's me, Luis. I'm happy to start the new semester. Happy to see that there's a lot of students going back on campus. Unfortunately, I'm still taking online classes at the moment. But I'm also happy to see that all the social media LBCC has, they're promoting all the clubs and everything and any other opportunity there is for students. So I like seeing that on every social media platform. Other than that, I've been good. Hopefully everyone was good. I'm sorry I missed the last meeting.
It's great having you here, Luis. Thank you so much. And we're so happy to be back and to have you be a part of this group. So thank you. Okay. Alyssa, would you like to address the board?
I'm okay right now. Thank you, though.
Okay. All right, great. Well, again, thank you as well for taking part in these meetings. Dr. Kirkwood.
Thank you, Bob. I did just have some things from our student assistants who've been getting a lot of feedback from our students kind of at large regarding matters as it related to access to food items at PCC once the cafeteria closes. And so I'm not sure what the fix is, but I just wanted to bring back, I told them the auxiliary board would be meeting, so I would share back. They did have some questions regarding vending machines at that campus. I don't know if we have less of them or something, but it was recommended possibly more accessible vending machine items for when the cafeteria closes, because I understand the scheduling is the way it is for a reason, but they've been getting a lot of questions because also the bookstore isn't open and the express, so there's limited food options, and apparently also once the cafeteria closes, there's not access to a microwave. So they really don't have a lot of food item options, but the vending machine, I told them I would bring back and kind of ask the question because I wasn't sure about even how many we have, let alone the accessibility of it. But it was a recommendation if we could get additional vending machine options at PCC, students thought that would be a good thing.
I'm happy to, so we don't want the students to wait until the next board meeting. What I'll do is I'll speak with First Class Vending, which is our vending machine provider for that. And I'll get a list of where we have machines, and I'll speak with them and work with facilities to see if we can have other vending machines installed. So I will do that, and I'll update you by email so you're not waiting to get a response.
That would be great. And then we'll be able to share that at our info desk in both the student union areas on both campuses. So thank you.
Yeah,
Dr. Kirkwood, I don't know that there's a solution for access to a microwave at PCC. We have PCCs in the cafeteria, but obviously we lock them when nobody's there, and having that area open if nobody's monitoring it can be problematic. I can share that we've had a couple of incidents recently with unhoused persons taking over restrooms or some other spaces and causing disruptions. And I think easily accessible microwaves would not be helpful, but I am thinking about creative solutions. I know that, for instance, employees have access to their employees' lounges. I know that other places in the evenings that have a lot of students, perhaps in our CT areas, I think maybe we can just start giving some thought to how we could have perhaps some accessible microwaves in alternative locations, which could also be cleaned regularly by our custodians without infringing upon the faculty lounges. And I think there might be a solution there, but it's going to take us some time to find out. So I think, Bob, when you do ask for more vending machines that provide cold food that doesn't need to be heated would probably be a good solution versus a vending machine that provides like frozen burritos or the ramen cups.
Got it. I'll put that in my notes.
Thank you for that, VP Drinkwine.
Okay, wonderful. I will get that information and we'll provide it. Okay. Okay, section 13, member comments. Okay, seeing none. Last item on the calendar for today, or the agenda for today, is adjournment. So I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 3:19 p.m. and thank you all for attending. This is actually a wonderful attendance, and I do appreciate everyone being here today.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Recording stopped.
Bye now.
Bye.